And welcome to In-Game Chat for Saturday, May 9th, 2015. This is Season 9, Episode 19. I'm Scott.
I'm Dennis.
I'm Matt.
And I'm RJ.
And welcome to the show. If you would like to get in touch with us, our phone number is 334-272-9228. I'll say that again, 334-272-9228. Nate is not here to answer your phone. He is, your phone call. He is, I actually don't remember where, I think he's going to the beach or something. I don't know. He wanted a Saturday off, and we said, we'll dock your pay. And we did, because we don't pay him anything.
Well, now he just has to pay us.
Yeah, right. So he's not here. James is not here. I'm hoping James will be back next week. The past 2 weekends, he's had prior engagements, and I really hope that he is able to be back with us next week. But welcome, everybody who is here. RJ, Matt, Dennis, and myself. As you can tell if you're watching the stream, our little names are there now, so you know who is who. For the most part, everybody knew who is who, but anybody that's new...
I don't have to look at the stream to see who's sitting next to me.
Right, exactly. So, welcome to the show. Like I said, if you'd like to get in touch with us, our number is 334-272-9228. Our website is ingamechat.net. You can also go there and find out all the links you need to get in touch with us. Our email address, Facebook, Twitter. In fact, you can find us on Twitter at InGameChat. You can find us on Facebook that same way. You can email us, everyone, at ingamechat.net. We are streaming the cam feed right now through Twitch. Head over to twitch.tv. Do a little search for In-Game Chat. You will find us there, and you can watch the show and listen to it. You can also join in the chat room live while we broadcast the miracle of the times we live in. Aren't they wonderful? If you like our show, and you want to support us, we would appreciate your support. Last week, we launched our Patreon page. You can find it at patreon.com/ingamechat. INGAMECHAT. Patreon.com/ingamechat. Also, just head over to ingamechat.net. That's where all the links are for everything. Our Patreon page, all that stuff that I mentioned off is all there at our site. If you would like to check us out on any one of those links, and also, if you would like to support us, we really do appreciate your support. In fact, a new contender stepped into it, and it was John, who pledged some money there. We appreciate your donation there, John. Our past ones were Christopher, also Leonard, Josh, Raspy Salamander, Kathy, and Sarah, all pledging to our Patreon, and we do appreciate it. It is something that there's a whole explanation at our website. There's a whole explanation at the Patreon page. There's last week's episode if you want to find out more about that information. I don't want to spend too much time on it because it just feels like we're trying to beg, and I don't want to do that. It's not something that we wanted, but I'm excited for where it might lead. Yeah. I'm excited for the fact you can't see it on any of these cameras, but this giant box here, I'm so excited that hopefully soon, one day, I won't have to lug it up and down the stairs. I can just build a box that can stay up in the studio and be the box that we use for our streaming. I'm excited because once we hit the $200 in total pledges, we will be able to we'll start doing some shows that aren't on the radio. We'll start doing some Google Hangouts or something like that, something where it'll be more of what you heard the after shows. For those of you who remember the after shows. Mm-hmm. The extra content, whatever it was we called it. If you remember those shows that actually got us off the radio in the first place, we'll start doing more of those. And I'm looking forward to that as well. I'm really looking forward to that because the days when Nate can't be here, or when James can't be here, or Dennis or Matt or RJ or something like that, these other shows give a chance that they might be able to join us on those episodes and talk about news of the week or whatever comes to mind. Those shows never had structure, not that these do, but be able to talk about just anything going on during the week. And there's lots of stuff that goes on during the week. There's some stuff that goes on right after we get off the show.
Like last week.
What was last week?
The Steam.
Well, that was the week before last.
Yeah,
week
we
before
talked about
last.
week.
We talked about that, and then boom, all of a sudden they're like, nah, we're going to pull those. But there's also stuff that goes on in the middle of the week that would be great to just get little quick hits of information about and quick opinions about. And we can give you our jump to conclusion situations and then have more time to think about them for the show after. But it's all exciting, and I'm looking forward to it. But thanks everybody who has donated so far. We really, really appreciate that. So thank you so much. On to the show. We've got an interview coming up at the top of the second hour. It is with James Lantz from Klei Entertainment. It is called Klei. I had to ask, but it is called Klei. Rhymes with play is exactly how they've started saying that. It's Klei rhymes with play. So it's not Klei or Klee or whatever the case it may be. It's Klei. They have a new game coming out on Tuesday called Invisible Ink.
This is one that's been in early access for a while.
It's
right?
been in early access for a while. Their games, they've been doing pretty good. They had Shank, and then they had Mark of the Ninja.
I like Shank.
By the way, if you want to know about Mark of the Ninja sequel opportunities, you should listen to this interview. And we'll also talk about Invisible Ink, how it came to be. And it's a really good interview, and it's coming up at the top of the second hour. Also, again, good music. If you happen to see our video, there's a video at YouTube that we did on our YouTube channel that we did earlier this week, showcasing the game Invisible Ink, about 30 minutes or so of me playing through the game. Did any of you guys in here watch that stream? Did any of you
I watched a bit of it.
No,
you watch some of it?
watched
Are
some
you
of it,
interested in this at all?
I'm interested in it. It's just 14 is taking up all my time right now. Like, I have no room for anything that isn't 14 at the moment.
Did you get a chance to play it, Matt?
Not yet. I downloaded it and installed it, but other
Okay.
things took up my time, and we'll talk about that.
Right, we'll talk about that as well. And then RJ, did watching that?
I watched a little bit of it.
Was there any interest for you? I don't think this is your style, but
well,
I don't know.
it was a level of strategy you had to partake in. It seemed very, very difficult because you were on beginner level day 2, and I saw there was a certain area you were getting caught in. But you said that the screens were like procedurally generated, so it's random.
It's a brand new map,
completely.
with the exception of like the tutorial.
Yeah.
The tutorial level is always the same, but after that, everything is just procedurally generated, just completely random each time you replay it.
That's
so
cool.
There's no trial and error. Okay, at this part.
And if you watch the video on YouTube, there is, I go over the difficulties.
Okay.
And so there are ranges of difficulties that you can play this with. None that I want to dip my toe in whatsoever. Might be beneficial for you. I know you like things difficult, but this was not. I was just not ready to do that. Especially not ready to do that on my first time playing.
Right.
Well, was it a matter of you were failing a mission, or was it just you weren't able to like hit all the goals, so to speak?
Well, it's interesting. And again, during this interview, those of you who are watching on Twitch will be able to see gameplay while this interview is playing. And we've got that set up, and it's from my stream the other night, the full stream, not the YouTube video that's already up there, but it's from the full stream. When you enter a room, or when you start a map, you can only see the room that you're in. You can't see beyond that. You can peek through doors and get a little bit of an idea of what's in the next room.
The impression I've gotten is it's kind of like the old XCOM games.
Very much so. Games which I did not play, but that's exactly the comparison that I keep hearing in forums and and elsewhere, is that it's got an XCOM feel to it. But so you get in and you do have an objective to get something. But there's also other side things that you can do while you're in there. They're not necessarily required, but it gives you more credits, because credits will help you upgrade your...
Kind of like ghosting through a stealth mission.
Somewhat,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, you don't have to do it,
but it's a nice little bonus.
But you'll be able to get those credits to upgrade your spy. The problem is you have to find the exit. So...
You don't start. It's not like you start at the exit or anything. You have to find.
It's not like you know where the exit is. The exit's not marked on the map. The exit is discoverable. You have to, by your going through the map, you will eventually find the exit. You hope, but sometimes you can go through what feels like you've uncovered the entire map. It's like, where's this exit? And then you'll look off into one corner, way the hell away from where you're at,
And there's
you'll
like one little blotch
they'll
of the
see
fog
a
of war.
blotch of black spot, and you're like, I never looked there. And as soon as you get there, which will take some time because it is turn-based, as soon as you get there, you'll see the door pop up, and it's like, I wonder if that's the exit. You look through, and maybe that's where it's at. Maybe it's not. Maybe you've missed it somewhere else. But so I ran into trouble on just getting on like my second or third mission, I think. I think the third mission I ran into some really bad stuff. The alarm level was raised so very high. Each time you raise it, somebody gets dropped into the map who's looking for you.
Okay.
And as it gets higher, people get dropped in who know where you're at, or at least know of your last location,
Interesting.
and will immediately head to that spot. So you've got to get out of there.
Yeah, so it sounds like you don't have a waypointed path through the map. It's not like, okay, now I need to go here, now I need to go to this place, now I can go exit.
No,
Nothing
no,
like that.
Nothing like
Like
that.
I said, it was random earlier, so everything changes every time you go.
Right.
There.
So that was one of the things. Like when I failed that first map, I said, let's retry it, and of course I hit retry, and it's a completely different map.
Mm-hmm.
So
That'll make it tough.
it's going to make it tough, but I had a lot of fun playing it. So like I said, if you're watching on Twitch, or if you want to watch us on Twitch, coming up at the top of the second hour of the show, we're going to air that interview, and you'll be able to watch the gameplay as the interview airs, and have that in the background watching the gameplay and get an idea of how Invisible Ink works. So that's coming up. Right now, let's talk about what we've all played. You've heard a little bit of what I played, Invisible Ink. Talked a little bit about that. I also finally got my 360 set up in the bedroom the way I wanted it to be set up. I had to plug in my old 360. I have two. One was like a launch unit.
Yeah.
And then one was a Slim that I got a couple of Christmases back. Not a Slim, but
Elite or whatever.
Whatever. Like the last model that they had done, the really sleek black one.
The one right before the one came out.
Yeah, there was like everything was touch, not press. It was just touch to turn it on and to do the eject and stuff like that. That's when they changed up the hard drives, because the one I had the hard drive on top. It was this attachment that went on the top of the thing.
It like hooks in. You hear like all the
internal.
latches.
Yeah, and then the ones that they have now are the internal ones that slide into, I think, the bottom of the machine. So I had to find a thumbstick that I had, and I had to download. I wanted all those save games. I didn't think, trust me, I don't see myself going back to play 50 Cent Blood in the Sand, whatever it was. But I have a save game from that, and I said, well, put it all on there.
One day.
So I had it all on there. I was really only doing this for Burnout Revenge. I wanted my save profile for Burnout Revenge to carry over. Even though I'd completed everything, I wanted to be able to go back and see if I could beat my scores.
Okay.
And so I brought that over, and all of my other saves from Catan to, oh gosh, what else was there? Uno's there. Full House Poker, which I really like playing. Just a ton of games that I kept seeing pop up. Force Unleashed, that I never finished, that I might like to go back to. There's a couple of other games. Oh, another great one. Bethesda's game called Wet.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Man. When I saw that save, I was like, I need to go back and play that, because I didn't finish it, and I really liked.
Yeah, that was when there were like a handful of games that had that grindhouse thing going on.
Yeah, exactly. I had Stranglehold, which was the John Woo.
Oh, yeah.
That was a good one.
I like that one.
That was a good one.
I
heard that was a good one.
That's something I haven't finished, and I found the save game for that.
Yeah, that was the sequel to Hard Boiled.
Did you get the
something like that,
did you get the limited edition of that?
I don't think so.
Okay, because I think
just got the game.
Yes,
The limited edition came with like the Blu-ray, didn't it?
That came with the
Or the
came with Hardboiled, the movie.
Yeah.
The movies on there.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Perfect for me because I never saw the film.
Oh, you didn't?
Mm-mm. So
oh
I
man,
did then.
that was a great. I saw it in the Capri years and years when it first came out. That and the Killers. I love old school John Woo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I saw those. I got those transferred, and then made sure it worked. And then I had to go through. You can't transfer music between console unless you bought it on your account. See, the Xbox
got the old Zune account, huh?
No, the Xbox 360 would let you put CDs into the 360 and rip them.
Oh, okay.
So I had ripped a couple of soundtracks that I used while playing Burnout Revenge.
Yeah, like your Pirates of the Caribbean, Top Gun.
No, not Top Gun. It was Bad Boys.
Oh yeah.
Broken Arrow. It was a lot of Zimmer. Any kind of chase music was in there. So it was Bad Boys, Pirates,
Titanic.
right? Titanic, The Notebook,
Silver Linings Playbook.
right, stuff like that. No,
Yeah.
what was it? Bad Boys, The Rock,
Yeah.
which has some great chase music in it. Again, a lot of Zimmer stuff. I plan to go back and put in some more.
I saw the photo that you
Right.
took on Twitter.
Yeah, those are the soundtracks. So what I had to go, since I couldn't transfer those, I had to go through and I had to make a list of like, okay, what track numbers did I use in my Burnout playlist? So I got all that done, hooked it up, started Burnout, found my old profile, there it was, found all the old clips that I had, and oh god, it was so much fun to go back and play that. I was laying in bed playing Burnout Revenge. It was so nice. The other thing was I also switched over and played some poker. Before I went to bed, I just logged in and there was some multiplayer still going on with poker, Full House Poker, and I played some of that, and that was really nice just to kind of sit there and relax and play poker. And then to be able to just turn it off and go right to sleep rather than have to get up off the couch, turn the lights off, do whatever. It's just right there. So that was really, really nice. I look forward to doing a lot of just Burnout Revenge. God, there was so much there. I have not 100%ed Burnout Revenge.
How?
I know.
There are signature takedowns.
How
in
did you
Burnout
sleep
Revenge.
at night for the past couple of years?
I don't know. I don't know how it happened. I thought I had completed it, but I am missing a bunch of signature takedowns, and once I get those, I will unlock the last car. I have one car left to unlock. I don't know what it is, but I've got like 84 cars out of 85. And the signature takedowns are takedowns that you have to do in front of certain places on the map.
Okay.
So it's not like I can go back through and orchestrate them to happen, not get a takedown with this particular vehicle. It is get a takedown in front of the bowling alley. So I have to make sure that I'm near the bowling alley and get a takedown where they're running into it or something like that. And there's different locations and setups to where those can happen. So I'm missing quite a few of those.
So you mean they have to hit something specifically, or it just has to be in the general area where the takedown occurs?
I'm guessing the general vicinity.
Okay.
So there's a bowling alley on the map, and
because I'm thinking if you have to like push somebody into a bowling ball and pins display or something like that, I mean
I'm not
that's gonna be hard
exactly
to set
sure,
up.
man. I'm not sure. It took me forever just to find the bowling alley because in the middle of racing, you're going by so fast, trying to dodge traffic and everything else, is
Right.
that it's very hard to look at the scenery behind you, especially for something like a bowling alley. I don't know what I'm looking for. Am I looking for a sign that just says bowling alley? It turns out I'm looking for a big ball and pins that are the sign. And there it is. So I know that I need to get a takedown somewhere in that area and hope it happens, but it's very difficult to try and make that happen.
Right.
So, and these are all over the map, so I've got a lot to go through and try and figure out how to make happen, which is fun. I'm glad I still have that to go through. I'm glad I'm not done with it. I'm glad there's still more for me to do. So
The challenge in you, the level just peaked, right? You're
yeah,
like,
I know.
something
It's like
new.
this is great. I cannot wait to get back to it and knock it out. So that's what I did. Burnout Revenge, and I also played Invisible Ink. And did I play anything else? I think we already got our pinball stuff out of the way. And of course, well, it was announced.
Yes, finally we can say it.
Yes.
Portal Pinball. I couldn't talk about it for the longest time. I probably could, but just out of respect for them.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Well,
bite the
they
hand.
only have like a bunch of employees, and they're partnering with Valve and everything.
Just one of those
probably a lot of
things.
money interchange.
I'm so excited, and I wanted to tell people, but Portal Pinball is
Yeah.
coming to
I mean,
Pinball Effects too.
They've been nice to us, so.
Oh, they've been fantastic to us.
Why
Been-
be?
been wonderful.
Anything but nice to them.
And so that's the first table you get out of Valve. I do not know of any other tables that are coming, but now
There's plenty of potential for that.
tons.
I can imagine the Team Fortress table have nothing but hats on it.
I don't know. Obviously, it'd be red versus blue theme
Yeah.
between that, and you have to pick who you play as, the red team, the blue team, something like that. I don't know.
That could as easily be man versus machine mode or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot to go with in the area of Valve. Half-Life is the
A
big one.
Ravenholm table.
Left 4 Dead.
I would think Left 4 Dead. They've done a Walking Dead table,
Yeah.
so they kind of got their
Yeah.
zombies in
Well,
there.
they've
But
also
Left,
done Plants vs Zombies too.
yeah, they have. So I
So-
mean, I don't doubt it.
Mm.
I really don't doubt it. So
I'd want to play a Ravenholm table.
they might also base tables, take tables that are based on certain levels in the
Areas.
games,
Yeah.
areas in the games. Exactly.
City 17.
Have no idea what they're planning on doing. I hope to find out at E3 when I get to.
Yeah,
see
I
them
wouldn't.
again.
I wouldn't think it'd be just one table and then that's all.
That's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, they still have their Star Wars license. They still have their Marvel license. So there's plenty to come from them. Ant-Man table,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know. So we'll see. But yeah,
The table will be really small.
There'd be a lot. There'd be a lot of aspects to get from them, and that makes me excited because that means just more pinball for me to play. So it's fantastic. That's about it for me. Let's go to Matt.
Wolfenstein.
That's right. The Old Blood
Old
came
Blood
out.
came out. Started playing that. I'm up on chapter 3. It's not quite.
This is the standalone expansion.
standalone,
It
yeah.
is $20.
Yeah, 19. Yeah. So
Yeah, I was about to
20
ask if it had the expansion pack feel or if it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It-
That's not a bad thing,
It's not
especially
bad,
for 20
but,
bucks.
Blood Dragon, which is what I tend to think of when it comes to standalone expansion packs. The Far Cry 3. That one was really well done. It felt like a whole nother game because it looked like a whole nother game, and the voices, Michael Biehn, all that kind of stuff, the 80 cheesy. That one was amazing, and I absolutely love Blood Dragon. This one, it didn't quite capture me like New Order did. It feels very
Was it just too much of? Was it too much of the same, or not enough of what you
repetitive.
enjoyed?
A lot of repetitiveness, and I think part of did you play?
I did not play New Order. I've
Okay.
heard enough praise about it that I need to get into it eventually.
I think the thing that I really enjoyed about New Order was the alternate history stuff, whereas this is still back in 46.
Yeah, this is
So-
during World War II.
Yeah, during the World War II. So it's like, oh, okay. So New Order really sunk its teeth in me with the alternate history in the 60s and after the Germans won and all that kind of stuff. That was really neat. It's all right.
Now, this is supposed to be a prequel to the New Order, isn't it?
In a
Story-wise,
way, yeah.
It does take. Well, it's alternate timeline stuff, though,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, because like you said, New Order went through 46 and 60s and
Yeah,
further
'cause
on
you-
down the line with
Yeah, you
Blast
were
and
sort
BJ.
of
So, but this one stays.
comatose for a couple of decades
Yeah. So, but this one stays right in
in
that
World War
first
II
part, in
at
World War II.
46.
Okay.
And you actually do go through Castle Wolfenstein. So, I don't know. It didn't quite have that feel.
Feel of what? Feel of New Order?
Yeah.
Hmm.
I don't. Yeah. I'll play it. It feels.
I mean, was it just the alt history, or was there something else lacking that you felt wasn't there?
New Order didn't feel as repetitive as this does. This one's the whole second chapter. You're just looping back and forth between a couple of different areas, trying to get into the castle, and so it just you go to the same spot several times, and I don't know. Maybe
You've only played? You're in what, third mission? You said?
Yeah, third
How much
chapter.
time is that you've put into it?
good couple hours.
Okay. Yeah.
I'll continue it. I'll beat it and everything.
Yeah, you're not turned off of it yet.
No. It didn't have. I don't know. It just feels a little different.
I know that James is playing it, but I have not talked to him about if he likes it or not. James also got a new card, a new graphics card.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he picked up a 970.
Ooh.
He's switched to Team Green.
Yeah.
He's gone from Team Red to Team Green.
I'm thinking about doing that myself.
Yeah.
So I know how he is typically in the past when he gets a new graphics card. It's like, all right, let's load up all these other old games to see how well they look now.
Yeah. Well, right now, you pick up a 970 or a 980, you get The Witcher 3 and Batman.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
That's their promo that they're doing right now. So if you pick up either one of those cards, a 9... I think there's another 9 card. 96... I don't know. Is there 960?
I'm not sure.
I don't think there is. Maybe I'm mistaken. But I know 970 and 980. You pick those up, you're going to get a Witcher 3 voucher to redeem on GOG. And we'll talk about this in a minute. I don't know if you had that in your notes here, Dennis.
The GOG Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
it's
not the GOG Galaxy, but the CDPR and GOG.
I thought was it GOG or Green Man?
It was Green Man. You're right. CDPR and Green Man Gaming button heads a little bit over this. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So you'll get a voucher for that on GOG, and then you'll get a voucher for Batman Arkham Knight to redeem on Steam.
Yeah, there's the 960, 970, 980, and then the Titan.
Titan is not. Titan,
Yeah,
I believe, is excluded from this, isn't it?
It's listed in the 900 series. on Wikipedia. So
okay.
take that as you will.
Let's see. I think in the promo, though, it's just 960, 970, and
Okay.
980. I do not believe the Titan X's are a part of this promo deal if you're interested in getting a new card. And with these two games coming out, some people have been interested in getting a new card.
Mm-hmm.
I am among them, but I am holding off. So I'm waiting to see if we get a 980 Ti.
Yeah, let's see, 960, 970, and 980, or 970M or above in Notebook. We'll get you
Right.
Witcher 3.
We'll get you the Witcher 3, yeah. I'm waiting to see if we get a 980 Ti. I think AMD, and I wish James was here because I know he's following along, and I know W. Matthew probably is following along as well, but I think AMD or ATI, whatever they are now, they either announced or they showed a little sneak peek of a new one. I think a 390X or something like that was one of their new cards. It's a really smaller card, integrated water cooling inside of it. But it's a tiny. It's not as long. It's just a little bit longer than the PCIe, the expansion slot is. Just a little bit longer than that. So, and I've seen some hints or some pictures about it. But like I said, W. Matthew might be following along a little bit more closer than that, and he might can call in and tell us about that a little bit later. So I'm curious to hear what James's thoughts on
Yeah, same here.
Old Blood is. Is it mixed up into two different missions, or is it just one mission?
So far, it's just in the first, I guess.
I watched a video on it, and I thought they had it. I thought there were two different.
It might be 2 different missions. So I'm still in the first mission, if so, but it has chapters. So I'm now in chapter 3.
Yeah. So anything else that you played?
Just some more GTA 5.
Hey, mods are supported now.
Yeah, on single player.
Mm-hmm. Which is
You won't-
fine.
Yeah, that's all.
Why would you ever do multiplayer? Why would you ever allow that?
No, not at all. But that's what I'd want it to do. And some of the mods that I've seen videos for, they're funny. Like
The gun that shoots vehicles.
cars, yeah.
That's fun. I want that so bad. Seeing that destruction. Look, I'm a shameless fan of what Michael Bay does to cars.
Yeah.
All right, I'm not necessarily a fan of how his.
Not a fan of how they transform sometimes.
I'm not a fan of how his movies tell stories
No.
because they're pretty crappy.
Yes.
But I am a
He
fan.
makes things go explode really well.
I am a fan of what he does with action and with action scenes and stuff like that. I am a huge fan of what he does. It's
the burnout
fantastic. It is. It falls onto that.
Mm-hmm.
It falls into the burnout effect. And when I saw that car shooting guns, I was like, well, I gotta get
the gun shooting
I
cars?
gotta get GTA
Sold.
5 on PC now. That
Yeah.
sells it. That does it. So that was fun to see.
Yeah, some
But-
of the super punching.
Have you played any? Have you used any mods yet, or you just?
I
looking at
haven't
them?
used in the mods yet.
Okay.
I'll wait a while to see more reviews, and I'm usually kind of weary about some mods because sometimes people put in malicious code in there, and I've been burned before. Like, granted, it's back in the days of Doom. You can get a virus, with all the mods in that community. But the super punching mod, that one was a lot of fun. Watching videos of that.
Cool. Well, we're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we're going to find out what Dennis and RJ have been playing, and we'll go over some of the stuff that's happened this week in gaming. And, of course, our interview, don't forget, our interview is coming up at the top of the hour here. We'll have an interview with James Lantz about Invisible Ink. And like I said, if you're interested in that game, it's worth listening to the interview, but it's also worth showing up on Twitch so you can watch the video of the game being played while the interview is going on and kind of get a better idea overall of what this game is and how it works. And that's coming up at the top of the hour. But right now we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will have more of In-Game Chat in just a moment. Here's music from Mass Effect 2. We'll be right back.
The one place the
Maybe
river
not.
region turns to on
I don't remember that level of Mass Effect 2.
I know. This thing has decided to
The
go
weirdest
very
elevator
slow.
sequence I've ever heard.
Isn't
Man,
it, though?
I'm Commander Shepard, and when I listen to talk radio,
didn't know we reached the Citadel all
Yeah.
the way out there.
It's always fun when you screw up on live radio, isn't it? Here's music from Saints Row 3.
Oh,
How about
okay.
that?
Hey, yeah.
welcome back to In-Game Chats with music from a game I don't know because I didn't title it.
Mega Man.
Might
Sure,
as well.
But that's what's on now.
The title on there said title and end credits. That's exactly what it said. It's like IGC, title and end credits. And I have no idea what game that was from.
It's from the game Artist Unknown.
Exactly. If you knew what game that was from, hey, you should
You know
tell
about
us.
more than us.
Exactly. But anyway, welcome back to the show. Let's go. We were going over the games that we played, and we're going to go over to Dennis now and find out what he has played.
Nothing but 14. Just lots and lots of Final Fantasy 14. I just hit the point where...
Expansion is out? Or the
No, expansion is next month.
Good
And
Lord. Why do I keep thinking it's... I guess because you and James are
we've
putting in so
talked
much...
about it so
yeah.
much. It's like, surely it's out now. Nope. Next month is when it comes out. I'm
When next month? Middle Wow. E3 is next month.
Yeah.
Middle of next month, by the way.
And hey, I'm sure something interesting will be at Square Enix's conference, given they're having their own set of...
They're having their own
there.
conference, yeah.
But
Bethesda's having their own conference.
Yeah.
Boy, does that not, the
times they are
perks
changing.
of ears and raise some eyebrows. What are you guys going to be talking about? Everybody's thinking Fallout 4.
Of course.
So,
But I just got to the point where I just got the last of my classes you can gain, since you can have every class on one character, and it involves traveling to the different towns in the world.
mhm.
So I just got that. I'm just nowhere near finishing the story. I doubt, because part of the expansion pack is you can't go into that story until you finish the main quest line of the base game, which probably 90% of all players have done by now. But since I just started up last month, I've got him in before I can get into Heaven's Ward. But that's been it for me.
That's just that, huh?
Yeah.
Is there anything that you are going to be looking forward to playing here outside of 14
I mean, there's stuff I
in
want.
the next couple of weeks?
Not that I mean, there's plenty of stuff in my backlog. I still need to play through Pillars of Eternity.
Yeah.
Right.
I play more.
I just set that aside for a while. It's one of those things where that needs a lot of time in order to go from beginning to end.
Yeah. That was the code I gave you.
Yeah,
That
you
was
gave me the code.
Yeah.
I have Space Pig.
You
don't.
Man, I didn't think I was getting one from the company.
Oh man,
I went ahead and bought it, and that was fine. I did not mind doing that. Honestly, I did
I'm gonna
not.
send you an email every time I'm playing, so you can
And then-
watch me with my Space Pig.
Then they plopped it up, and I was like, oh, well, I haven't given anything to Dennis in a while. Let me give this to Dennis, and it turns out he got the Uber whatever
yeah,
edition.
which I appreciate greatly. by the
You're
way.
more than welcome, sir.
Originally, I wasn't going to be able to get it all just because of
I know.
money and
yeah.
everything, so I do appreciate it. But I will still taunt you about Space Pig. Just
That's
because.
fine.
I want a
Well
Space
deserved. Well, then you need to buy
You
the
need to
Uber
buy
edition
the-
of Pillars
yeah,
of
it's like
Eternity.
Royal Edition, I think, is what comes with it.
I say Uber, whatever. It's just
Yeah.
the big one.
The $80 or $90 one, whatever it is.
Exactly.
But yeah, instead of having the dog from the first town, you can have a Space Pig following you.
Space Pig.
Nice.
Giant miniature Space Pig, I believe.
Sounds like a winner.
RJ, what has been on your plate this past week?
Well,
Well, you were here last week, weren't you? Yes,
yeah,
you were
I was
here
here
last week.
yeah.
Yeah.
I got my strat guide from Amazon for Bloodborne from Future Press recently.
How big
And
is it?
Are you a guide user, typical?
Yeah.
Okay.
Especially if it's like a
Not that
this is well
you don't
made.
seem that you are or aren't. I
Yeah,
just don't
if
think we've
it's,
ever really talked about it.
Yeah, it's just Future Press really makes a really good strat guide. I've bought from them a few in the past, and I especially wanted to get one from them for Bloodborne. Unfortunately, it was on back order from Amazon. I was on the waiting list to get it, and it finally came in. And within 5-10 minutes of reading this thing, I realized all the stuff that I missed playing through the game so far. And since I wasn't that far into it to begin with, I was just at the Dark Beast Parl area, I decided to start over.
And let me guess,
So-
it was like all stuff that was like, oh, if you just went down this side street, you get this relic that would help you tremendously in this next area.
Pretty
Things
much.
like that. Yeah.
Pretty much. Most of all what I was missing was NPC characters. There was a certain amount of characters. See, there's an area, the Cathedral Ward. Maybe you spoil territory for some if you haven't gotten this far yet, but there are a number of residents in Yarnum that you can have go to the Odon Chapel, and you can get things from them if you save their lives. But the thing was, though, I didn't know where they were or how the conditions of getting them to leave their home and risk going out in the night of the hunt to get to the chapel. So I figured out how to finally do that, and it's been very beneficial to me. going through this game so far. I've been able to get stuff that I couldn't get my hands on.
Makes it a
earlier.
lot easier.
Yeah, it makes it a lot. Well, not exactly easier,
Well-
but more manageable, so to speak.
Easier as far as like soul style games go.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
If you-
easy is relative term with that.
yeah. So I did that, and I started over. I'm almost back to the point where I was. I've been finding all types of stuff here, left and right. Made an alternate character to play with a friend of mine online because the same thing applies. You got to be within a certain level of people to join up online.
Really, you can't. Because I thought I know in like Dark Souls, I think the white soapstone and like it wasn't necessarily level restricted.
But it was a little restricted when I played last. If that's
Okay.
changed, if that's changed in Scholar of the first sin,
yeah, I have
maybe
no
it
idea.
has. But when last time I tried that, it had to be within a certain level.
Just a
But,
thing outside of whatever. I'm really glad that your cameras are set up the way they are.
Okay.
Because now it looks like RJ is talking to Dennis. Like right there. It's got that whole Brady Bunch effect or whatever.
This
But
is
yeah.
a story.
Yeah, anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
No, but yeah. So I've been going through that, and so getting it within the level of each other. It was kind of a difficult concept because we had to like do certain things to do that. It's not like write your name here, okay? Find the sign, step on it, and summon me when you're ready. No,
Yeah,
you have to like
it's
ring a bell or something. It's like there's a beckoning bell you have to ring. Thing is, though, it costs insight to ring it.
and what is that?
Insight is a stat that you have that allows you to see certain things in this nightmare world that you're going through. I'll give you an example.
And so is it
yeah.
is it kind of like a currency essentially?
It's a currency. It can be used
Okay.
as a currency, and then there's some enemies who takes insight from you.
Ah, okay.
One in particular, they call it a brain sucker. Basically, this.
That sounds fun.
Oh, it is, especially when he grabs hold of you.
A brain sucker.
Yeah,
All
he
right.
grabs hold of you, and you see why he's called that. But
And then you have a new hat.
yeah, well, maybe.
Is he green?
No, he's kind of a light blue sea-colored monstrosity, like look like a squid or just basically a withered body with a bunch of tentacles on
Like
his head
a
with this
crab?
big jump.
Oh no, I was thinking
okay.
of the thing in Futurama, the little.
Oh yeah, the brain slug.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this thing takes away insight from you, but you can use it for currency and things of that nature. But the more you have, the more things you could see in the world. Like we're saying, for example, there's an enemy on Odon Chapel. There's something sitting there
hmm
hanging on the wall. This big monstrosity sitting on the wall, but you don't see it until you get a certain level of insight. I mean, he can still attack you, but you can't see how to.
Oh, jeez.
You can't see the thing and hurt it until you have the proper amount of insight to attack it.
So like you're getting hit by something.
Yeah, there's a certain area outside of the chapel. There's a certain area outside the chapel that I don't want to go to because if I do, I'm going to get pulled in this vortex and dead instantly. So I want to stay away from that area until I can get my insight high enough I can do that. But it costs this to ring the beckoning bell, and when you ring the beckoning bell, it'll like search out for anybody who meets your criteria. You can set up a password for it if you want a specific person to join. Tell them what the passwords be, set it up in the network, and then you can have them come in. So we did that together. Ran through Old Yarnum for a while. We did that. Thing was though, I noticed something immediately. When he summoned me, my friend summoned me to the game. My stats were much lower than they were before I was summoned. It's like I had less health to work with. I mean, usually I could take about 2 or 3 hits before I have to pop a blood vial, but one hit.
Was it?
From him, and one hit from the enemies in his area, and we were both about the same level. So it wasn't like a different level.
Yeah,
of
let's say
enemies
was
there.
it like
Yeah.
if it was a scaling thing or if it was like just some kind of status condition assigned just to being summoned.
I think the scaling in terms of the health of the enemies, not much, but we can still take them out in the same amount of shots. Maybe
Or
one
is
extra
it
shot or so.
Or could it
take
be
them
that
out.
the enemies were more powerful? Diablo 2 had something like that, where the more characters you had in your world, the stronger the enemies got.
It may have been that, but I really think it was because I had less health to work with. I mean, I know the size of my health bar before I joined this game, but when I joined this game, it was significantly smaller than it was
Interesting.
supposed to be. So maybe that's the design of the game, something not, I don't know. But we went through that, and I helped him get through Old Yarnum, and we stopped there. And then I went back to playing with my original character, trying to get further ahead and get back to where I was. So that's what I was working on. That's what I've mostly been working on is Bloodborne. And other than that, I've been playing a little bit more of Mortal Kombat X, trying to get some more combos down with Johnny Cage. And
Did you pick up the DLC?
I did pick up the DLC. Played a little bit with Jason. I'm not planning on using him really, but I have seen him in action, and he's got a lot of
Are his
things
fighting
that-
styles just machete, machete, machete?
is one fighting style he has is a slasher. That's when he has machete exclusively.
Okay.
He puts a lot of damage to the combos there. I think one is unstoppable. That's his resurrection one. If you take out all his energy at the end of a round, he's going to wake up, and depending on how much energy he has in his super meter, I think that determines how much energy he gets back when he wakes up.
Oh, that's interesting.
So fantastic.
That's one.
So is basically what would normally like be a round win for somebody instead is just him getting back up and
he
coming
gets
out
back
again.
up and comes back at you. Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, that's one part. And then he's got Relentless, I believe it's called. Relentless gives him, I believe, teleporting abilities, and he has a move where he messes up your button inputs.
Neat.
It's like he does this move and the screen turns red, and your control inputs are reversed, I believe.
Oh, that's great.
So imagine how confused you're going to get.
Like a psychotic effect.
Yeah, something like that. So imagine how confusing it is if you want to like try to keep away, and he does the remapping of your buttons, then he teleports behind you.
Tell you
And
what-
initially you want to like tap back to get away, but now instead of tapping back, you tap back to go away, but instead because your controls
You
messed
go
up,
forward.
now you're going
And
forward
that
into
messes
him.
up. I
And
imagine that messes
mess-
up your special moves too as well.
Yeah, they're all reversed now.
Oh, jeez.
So everything's messed up, and he's also got moves where he has like super armor, where
He's
you
not
hit-
staggered.
he's not
essentially.
staggered when he hits. He's going to keep
Is
coming
the super
forward.
armor like from Jason X?
I never saw that movie.
But
But
you're better off.
yeah, but anyway, he's gonna walk through your attacks, and he's gonna like relentless, gonna come into you
Mhm.
and just beat you down. The other things with Jason is like real powerful, really fast. That's what really gets me about. He has about as much walk speed as some of the women in Mortal Kombat. They all go quick in this game. I think he's about not as fast as Jackie, but he's pretty close. So he can like bum rush you in a minute if you're not careful. He's pretty powerful in this game.
How are his fatalities?
Not what I wanted.
You saw him?
I saw videos on the internet, yeah, but
Or
what
his brutalities or his X? What is his X-ray?
His X-ray is the machete going in the throat and coming out the top of your skull.
Oh, good
Yeah.
lord.
He then takes the handle of the machete and pushes it up, so now your head's at a 90-degree angle, and that snaps your neck.
Okay.
He pulls the machete out from there and then puts it in your gut and then pushes it through your back, and that breaks your spine,
All right.
and that pushes you out. I think a lot of his throws and his attacks are based off
It's a
of...
fun family game, folks, for those of you listening.
Yeah, because nobody knows what Mortal Kombat is in this day
Right,
and
yeah.
age.
Well, you don't know. You don't know. But yeah.
But all the things like that went through it. Yeah, like I said, he's pretty powerful. He's a pretty powerful character in this game.
what
He
I
really is.
wanted for his fatality to be would take a sleeping bag, just like throw it over you real quick, and then like while you're in the sleeping bag, just slam you against a tree, like he did in
That was in the
7, I think it was.
Was it 7? I thought.
But
that
he
was
also did it in 8. I mean in X.
Okay.
I didn't see it, but I think the name of one of his fatalities is sleeping bag something.
Really?
I think there's no bag involved, but he slings you around
Yeah,
like that.
and
one,
then it breaks your arms off. That's the one
yeah,
I saw.
Okay, yeah.
But like if you actually like put you in a sleeping bag and slapped you against a tree, that would have been awesome.
Yeah, like I was saying, they're all his moves and specials, I think, are based off of his most memorable kills.
I
throughout the
really,
series
really
of
like
Friday the 13th.
I like the different styles that they gave him. That's fantastic that they
Yeah.
incorporated that.
Mhm.
And I don't know if they did the same thing when Freddy was part of it last, like Mortal Kombat 9.
So they didn't
No,
have, they
there's
didn't
just
have
a-
weapon styles. In
I don't
9,
think they did.
No. I mean, it just happens to be since that machete is such a iconic part of this character.
Oh no,
And
no, it's
yeah,
fantastic.
They just put it in there. They
It's
put it in there as
fantastic.
one of his styles.
To me,
And,
it gets a feeling like the people who did that have a love of Friday the 13th and understanding of the character.
Yeah.
Well, and when the other one is Predator, right?
Yeah, we have 3 more characters coming. You have Tanya,
Who was like Mortal Kombat 4 or something like that?
Mortal Kombat 4, and then you have the Predator and this rock. They call him some rocket ninja, something called Tremor. Tremor or something, yeah, like that. So they're going to work on.
Yeah, I
those
think I
two.
remember
They're
reading
coming
that
out
was
later
like
on.
a
Tremor sounds like
special forces game. I
Yeah.
think it was like a kind of like the Sub-Zero Mythologies game.
Tremor sounds
Yeah,
like one of
maybe.
the characters from Cameo.
No idea.
Really, you never played Cameo?
I never did play Cameo.
Oh man.
Only thing I remember is it was a Uno deck. But that's
Right,
about
right,
it.
right.
I was thinking of the Kevin Bacon movie.
Oh, Tremors. Yeah.
Tremors, yeah.
No, I was thinking of Trimmer, and maybe he is. Gosh, maybe it is.
We'll just put a Sandworm in as a character. from
Right,
Mortal
yeah.
Kombat 10. There we go.
The from an attack.
All of his attacks, are down, down, down.
Yeah.
And then when he's down, up, up, up. So he comes out. But
It looks like something like that. Like Scorpion is like based on fire, Sub-Zero is based on ice, and I guess this guy, if I had to guess, is based on the Earth because rock, stone.
good.
That's what it looks
Captain
like.
Planet is soon to be joining
Yeah,
the
I mean,
Mortal
yeah,
Kombat
well, they got-
roster.
Oh my god,
They
who's
have-
gonna choose Heart?
I don't know. Kano pulls out hearts. That's close
Oh,
enough,
yeah.
right?
Well, anyway. So anything else? Mortal Kombat and
That's pretty much all the things I've played.
you should
this
stream
week.
some Jason stuff.
Yes,
You should stream
that'd be cool.
you playing some Jason stuff, or you playing against Jason, so we
Against
can.
Jason? Okay.
Yeah. Either way,
Yeah.
just to show some. In fact, every time they do a new character thing, if you've got it, you should stream it the day it comes
I
out.
should
if you've
have
got
it. It's
Be
I
great.
got the season pass, so I get a little.
You're the one
earlier, so
live
yeah.
through on this thing, man, because I don't have that game. I'm just not a.
I like watching
just
it,
watching. I like watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
but when I played RJ before in the past, and it's like I'm not even holding the controller.
It's like night and day.
Yeah.
Let's do a couple of quick hits of stuff that came out because we only have about 8 more minutes till we hit the top of the hour break here. So not enough time to really go into the GOG and Green Man, the GOG and the Green Man situation.
Yeah, we could do that after.
But they did launch their Galaxy beta, and have you?
I've downloaded and installed it. I've not tried anything through it.
Okay.
yet. I got to the point where it's like, okay, there's my library from GOG. Let me go play some 14 now.
Yeah, more than likely I will be playing it through GOG as well. Well, The Witcher.
Well, particularly things you can't get elsewhere, like on Steam or
Mhm.
anywhere else. Like old games, like the old Fallout games, or
Those are on. Yeah,
some
those are
of
on
the stuff
Steam.
like Dungeon Keeper and all the old Ultimas are on GOG. So I think they've
Outlaws.
popped up on Origin now.
I know Fallout's or the original Fallout's are on Steam, but like Outlaws, that's only on GOG.
Has anybody messed around with the Galaxy?
Not
Why
yet.
not?
Just loading it up. That's
Yeah,
it.
I haven't messed with it either. I know that I will get involved with it just for the fact that Witcher 3. I'll probably get the GOG version. If I get a card, it's going to come with the GOG version. But you know how I like to do buy my games.
Yeah.
I will, now that they're doing the card stuff. So when you buy a new graphics card, you get these games for free. Now I can go to eBay and I can look for all these people selling Witcher 3 codes and Batman
Yeah,
codes.
because it's for stuff they've either already pre-ordered
Yeah,
or already
for like
have.
$25 a piece usually is where they hit on eBay. And so, but the problem is that those free copies of Witcher 3 will be tied to a GOG account. They will not be through Steam.
Yeah.
So I'm sure I will
Well,
be
I
playing.
mean, like that's not that big. a
Oh
deal.
no, it's not. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care. I know that some people have a preference,
Yeah.
but I really don't care where I play my game, so long as I'm playing it on the platform I wish to play it on. And Witcher 3 is PC. If I got to play it through Origin, I really hate Uplay. Oh God, that's probably
Anything but you play.
that is probably the only exception, man.
Yeah.
God, I hate Uplay. Uplay, I'll tell you what, Uplay only really mattered in the multiplayer sense. It was only when James and I were trying to play Splinter Cell is when Uplay's hideousness started showing up.
As in like a authenticator, it's like nothing.
Yeah, I didn't really care.
But trying to play multiplayer is like
it was really bad, really bad. So
it's like nothing but horror stories about that.
we've talked about Square getting their own E3 conference. Bethesda's getting their own E3 conference, and now PC Gaming is getting its own something. The PC Gaming show at E3.
Yeah, it's AMD was working with the PC Gamer magazine folks, putting together something, and that's all we have. Is just here's a PC gaming thing we're doing at E3.
Yep.
Enjoy.
Star Wars is coming to Disney Infinity.
Infinities, yeah.
Star Wars is coming
Star
to
Wars and
Destiny.
Destiny. Oh boy.
I might have to
Chewbacca
do 3.0.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to play it or just to collect the figures? What
Yes.
do you both? Okay, gotcha. I figured that.
I have no
much.
idea how Infinity plays. I wonder
Me neither.
if it's like the Lego games or if it's more Skylanders or what.
I would guess more Skylanders, but I don't know. I'll find out.
I have never played Skylanders. I have played Disney Infinity a little bit at like E3. I played some of that, and I can't tell you if it played like Skylanders. It did.
Yeah, the little bit of Skylanders scene, it plays like
It did feel like a Lego game where it was just basically open world with these things to do, with these objectives that you could do, but there wasn't any kind of pressure to do them. It wasn't like, I don't know. I can't remember. I think there are modes that give you. Well, see, I played the Marvel.
You can tell none of us have kids,
Yeah,
because otherwise
exactly.
we'd know.
I played the one that incorporated the Marvel characters. I remember doing that, and that was a free for all. That was explore the world, and here's some places where you can activate a mission.
Yeah, probably something like going through Stark Tower or something like that.
If you activated a mission, it was like, okay, now you got to stop Venom from doing these things, and so you'd chase him around the map and that sort of thing. And when it was done, you could still just hang around with your characters, switch in and out of characters at random, whatever you wanted.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like a.
Didn't feel like it had
Lego
structure.
game.
Not that it needed structure, because it had open world, and you're playing with these really fun characters to play around with. So, but it's not on my list of something to do for me. I love the figures.
Yeah.
That's about as far as it goes. I don't know if I'll jump into the Star Wars stuff or not. Maybe for like an R2-D2 unit, and just have him there, or an X-wing or something like that. I'm more like the vehicles more than I do like some of the characters and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that might be something that I'll jump into as well. What else? Was there anything?
PT.
PT is gone.
Yeah, PT's
Not
gone
just
completely.
you can't download it. It's like you
Yeah,
can't get it.
if you had ownership rights, you can't download it. And the only way you have it is if you still had it on your hard
That's
drive.
an interesting discussion to have, because here it is. Here is the thing we always thought, not necessarily that it would never come.
It's the scary stories we tell each other about what happens if Steam goes down. It's like, one day we won't be able to play the games we buy.
Just don't say Gabe Newell 3 times in the mirror.
Yeah.
That's an interesting noise you made, Dennis.
Yes.
We're going to save that for posterity.
Yeah.
Yes.
The fact that they were able to revoke your license.
Yeah.
Well, it's
You
not,
didn't pay for
it's
it.
not a revocation of license. It's just it's not there to download. Everybody still has, as far as I know, everybody still has the license. Just there's nothing. They don't have a spot for it on the store. It's gone.
Yeah, just taken away.
You can sit
Yeah, I
because
guess
if they
so.
took away the license, you probably wouldn't be able to play it offline then, or play it
Maybe.
on your console.
You got the license, yeah, we're just not making it available anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, it was. Callie Sensei, it was free, wasn't it? Yes, it was free, and so it's not like it took any.
yeah.
It took something you paid for, but it's one of those situations. And Jimmy the Saint's asking, what game is this? And this was
PT.
This was PT, which was
PT.
on the PS4
Silent Hills.
exclusively. It was the playable teaser
trailer. Yeah.
for what was
Silent
going to
Hills.
be Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro's Silent Hills.
exactly. And this was it was a horror game. It was scary, and
Yes.
I don't do scary, but it was.
I wish I had played it because I never did.
Oh man.
I have
thought
it downloaded, so luckily.
I saw the video. I saw some
Barring
video
my hard
clip
drive
over this.
crash.
Yeah, so you've still got it on yours.
I still have it on mine.
Yeah. I want to say I downloaded, but I don't remember. I don't think I did.
You might have to bring in the PlayStation sometime and play it for the show or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of people putting their PS4s on eBay.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's like, hey, I have PT on here. Can't
Yeah.
get it anywhere else.
I think eBay was taking those off though.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's about the most I've seen about it.
Well, isn't it tied to your account?
I imagine so.
Should be.
So then when you sell those,
Then
your account is still because they would have to if they log in under some other account.
unless it's a throwaway account that they have.
Man, I don't know. I don't exactly know how that works.
Yeah, I don't know how the licenses work. If it is like the 360 and PS, I know 360 eventually got this way where it was if one person on there had the authentication, anybody could play that
Anybody's
particular
account on
live
that, yeah,
title. Or,
anybody's
for example.
account on that system could access it. Yeah, but
But it's interesting. They just do not want that. How disgruntled must you be as a company
Yeah, that feels like some definitely bad blood.
to take something off? Look, I understand if you want to pull it and say, okay, nobody else can download this, or take it off so that nobody new can download this. But to take it to where if you have already downloaded and you can't re-download it or something like that, how disgruntled must you be to really pull that?
It may be a cost issue.
I mean, there could be legal stuff.
It's
I don't
entirely
know.
possible something like Sony's like, we charge this much for bandwidth.
They could be about to go
stuff.
into a legal situation.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, let's remove that so that we don't have to worry about that aspect of what we're about to do.
I'm just glad that they can't like remote into your system and wipe your hard drive for that one game.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very interesting. I wonder if this will. Does this change anybody's perception of buying digitally or not?
Not
I mean,
really.
it doesn't mean.
Well, I mean, I always saw, we all got into Steam back at the inception during Half-Life 2.
Well, let's put Steam aside. Let's just look at Konami.
Yeah.
Because they've done this to themselves. Do you trust Konami to not? Where are you going to buy Metal Gear Solid 5?
I'm not even that interested in Metal Gear Solid 5.
I
if I was going to buy it, I was going to buy it through Steam.
I have the digital download of that. But the thing is that that actually got released. This is like it's a teaser. It's not even a game.
This was just a promotional thing.
It's a
I
promotion.
know. I understand.
Yeah. So
but what stops them from doing it again? The fact that you paid for it?
Nothing stops them.
Exactly.
That's part of that is a real danger of buying digitally. It's like one day your stuff may not be there.
Be gone.
Renter Hamster is exactly where I was. It changes my perception of Konami. It doesn't. I'm fine with Steam, but it changes my perception. Does it change your perception of Konami on Steam? Since now they're doing that with
Metal Gear, Phantom Pain.
with Phantom Pain. They also did it with Metal Gear Rising
and
Revengeance,
just bring
and
an
Ground Zeroes.
Bring an example of a game that was taken off Steam. Deadpool, for example, was taken just unless I think you can still download it if you own it. I think that is the exception. You just can't buy it anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Lavos brings up a interesting point. Is this Konami might be getting out of the video game business here with some of the stuff that they're
knows
pulling.
what Konami's doing?
I don't know what's going on with them. That is an interesting thing.
I don't
that's
think
happening.
they know what's going on with them.
We should find out more soon at some point. I don't know. I mean, Metal Gear is going to be a thing that they're going to release, and they're going to be hoping and banking on.
Well,
being very
that's the thing.
successful.
It's going to depend on. Okay, all this needs to lead up to a successful thing that makes them money. Because if all this is just a bunch of garbage they've been throwing out here, and then 5 tanks, I kind of doubt it will. But if it does, then that's a lot of people's heads up on the chopping block there. After tossing Kojima on that pile.
Callie Synth brings up a point that gaming is a small part of Konami. It turns out they earn most of their money from gambling machines. So it may not make any sense any longer for them to continue to support those games that they are no longer developing. I know one of their top game franchises, I believe, is the
Monster Hunter, I think.
Oh, I thought it was one of the FIFA series.
Yeah,
one of the
that too. I know Monster Hunter's a kind of big deal. I think some kind
Monster
of FIFA.
Hunter?
Yeah, is it Monster Hunter Konami?
I thought it was Capcom.
I could have sworn.
I'll have to look it up,
I could have sworn like there have been
Look it
like
up.
promotions like between Metal Gear and Monster Hunter. I thought that was Konami.
I was always surprised that for all its fandom, Castlevania went more.
Yeah, that's kind of
Depressing.
really is.
Well, they turned Castlevania into a God of War.
But it was a really good God of War.
I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying they.
I'll
I'll
admit
They had to update it for the times, I think.
Well, and also watching you play through the first Lord's Shadows, I remember it's like, oh yeah, this first part was really, really bad, because it was like after you beat the boss you were at, is when it starts being like, okay, this is good. When you actually have healing abilities.
Yeah. I hated the part that I played.
Yeah,
yes, according to our chat room, Monster Hunter is Capcom.
Okay, then I know nothing about video games, apparently.
Rena Hamster, yes, it is Pro Evolution Soccer. I think it's their big one.
PES.
I didn't mean to say FIFA. I just knew it was soccer.
Yeah.
I just could not remember which franchise. By the way, I want to do a chat room roll call real quick before we take our break here. Lavos, thanks for hanging out. Medusa's Mirror is in there as well. AC Wraith, Cavalier UK, Drone House, Jimmy the Saint, Callie Synth, Nuclear Fire, Raspy Salamander, love that name, glad he's here. Rena Hamster is here also, Tactus 59, The Wasman returns, and W. Matthew hanging out in the chat room. We appreciate it. If you would like to hang out in the chat room, head over to twitch.tv, search for In-Game Chat, and you will find us there. Or just go to ingamechat.net and find our Twitch link, along with our Facebook, our Twitter, our email links. We're all over the place. Our iTunes subscription.
And our Patreon.
And our Patreon page. Also our YouTube channel as well. And don't forget that we got the interview with James Lantz coming up here after this break from Klei Entertainment. We're going to talk about Invisible Ink. If you're curious about how that game plays, listen to the interview, but also watch it on Twitch, because we will have video gameplay in the background while the interview is going on. So please enjoy that. That is coming up next for you right now. Here is music from Bayonetta. We'll be right back with more in-game chat in just a moment. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. Time for the interview segment of the show, and today we are talking with James Lantz from Klei Entertainment. He is the technical designer for Klei, I guess, and also on the Invisible Ink team. But James, thanks for being on the show with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm a pleasure to be here. Very excited.
We are very excited to have you on. We are very excited to play your game. All of us here are huge fans of Mark of the Ninja.
Oh, thank you so much.
Can I just, before we get into Invisible Ink, can I just ask you, are we getting a Mark of the Ninja 2? Are we getting a sequel to that?
It's not out of the question, right? But we're not working on it. We don't have concrete plans. You know what I mean? Like I can't say no, but I also can't say yes. I'm not being coy. Like we're actually.
I understand.
we're not working on it right now.
Can you make?
You know what I mean? I think.
Can you make concrete plans to do it? Because we really want a Mark of the Ninja 2.
So do I. I mean, yeah, Mark of the Ninja is I didn't work on that team, so I actually got to play that game as a player would, and it was awesome. Yeah, super. I like that game a lot as well.
God, it's fantastic.
I think in general we're more interested in trying to do new stuff, trying to constantly keep it fresh and explore new design space we haven't explored before. So I think. If we can figure out a way to make Mark of the Ninja 2 interesting and super different and new, have new design space for us, then we'll be more interested in figuring out how to make that happen, All
right. Well, I mean, I'll take spiritual successor as well. If you want to call it that too, I'll take one of those. Just give me more stealth, and you kind of do that with Invisible Ink. Invisible Ink has been in some form or another. How long have you guys been working on this?
2.5 years at this point.
Wow. This was where did the concept for back up and let's explain what Invisible Ink is, why don't we? Because it is stealth, but it's also turn-based stealth. It's also roguelike procedural, maps and what's the term I'm thinking of?
Roguelike procedural sounds good to me.
Yeah, the camera isometric.
Oh, isometric.
Yes, yeah. That's what I was trying to. I couldn't think of the camera angle. But isometric and stealthy and spyish and tactical and oh god, it's a lot of things.
It is a lot of things. It's a pretty weird little game, honestly. It's very different from a lot of stuff that we've made or we've seen in the stealth genre, I think.
It's a lot of things, but it's a lot of things. It's a lot of things, but one of the best things it is actually a lot of fun. And,
nice, thank you.
Oh, it is, and it's got style oozing out all over the place.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so happy to hear that.
I played this at PAX when I first met you. It was at PAX Prime this past year, and that's where I had a little taste of it. But man, when I played it last night, well, I say last night, we're recording this on a Wednesday, and you're hearing it on a Saturday. When I played it earlier this week. When I played it earlier this week, I got to that first animation cinematic, which I guess is the opening one, the opening intro, the intro part of it. Yeah. Man, that is good.
Yeah, I was. I didn't seen that at all as well. Like I saw it for the first time when it was finished because our animation team was kind of off, holed up all month working on it, and Yeah, I agree. I watch it most of the time I start the game. I've started the game a lot of the time.
Yeah, give my regards to the folks who worked on that sequence. And I'm
Oh, yeah, will
talking
do.
I'm talking the storyboards for it, the whole plan of like, all right, I want the camera to that part where she's going up the stairs and the camera
Yeah.
pulls up, and I thought, man, this is really good. I mean, it's got a style on its own. It's got a great animation style. It's got a great just style throughout it. But then when I was seeing how they were working with the camera and doing the animation and everything else, it's like, oh, there's style on top of style with this, and it's just really, really good. So that was.
Will do. That's so awesome to hear. Yeah, it was interesting for us because it was the first time we've ever done 3D in-house animation. And a lot of our animators have done 3D before in their careers, but have never done 3D for Klei. And so it was really an experiment for us, and we were excited to see how it turned out. Super different from anything we've done before.
Well, I'm glad it worked because I hope to see a whole lot more of it because that was really good. I even said in the playthrough, I said, man, if that intro was just the trailer, it would have sold me on the game.
Awesome.
Just for how good that was. I'm a huge fan of animation, and I really, really enjoyed what was being shown there as far as the intro. So it sets you up really well. But how did the concept... Did this thing go through a bunch of phases as to what you wanted it to be, or was it always on the outset to say, I want to make a stealth game, but let's make it turn-based, let's put all these different aspects of a stealth game into it?
No, it changed a lot during the course of its life cycle, actually massively all the time. Part of that was from being in early access, and part of it was, so just to take you through the very beginning, it started out as sort of, we wanted to make a Syndicate-inspired XCOM stealth game. We wanted to basically say, okay, like, what does XCOM plus Mark of the Ninja look like?
Mm-hmm.
And actually in the very, very beginning of this game's life cycle, it was a mobile game, and it was multiplayer. It was a multiplayer mobile game. So it's basically as different as it could possibly be from that now. Now we have a single-player PC game. So it's changed, hugely since those initial prototyping days, and we had tons of changes. In the beginning, we kind of just had stealth, and then we had the concept of you could hack. You could like kind of walk up to terminals in the level, and you could press a button on them, and they would like activate a camera.
Mm-hmm.
And then we added this whole other hacking layer to the game. So that was like a big iteration change. And then originally, also the game used to be a lot more roguelike-y. So it was basically it was like, have you ever seen the movie Dread?
I have not, and there's going to be a lot of people pissed off about that. But no,
Well,
I have not. I own it.
Yeah, it's good. You should watch it.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the one with and now I've forgotten his name all of a sudden. But
yeah, I don't know his name either. But
the most recent one.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So basically, in the movie Dread, they're climbing up this building, right? So it's like a huge high rise, and it's like 100 stories or whatever, and they're working their way up, and they're fighting people. And originally, we had an idea that was similar to that, where you were sneaking into a corporation, and you were starting at the bottom floor, right, and working your way all the way up to the top floor, and that was going to be the game. And so it ended up feeling a lot like a dungeon crawler when it was presented that way. Like it was sort of like, oh, you're basically we're reversing the typical dungeon that you crawl through, and we found it works a lot better with a XCOM style, more like overworld where you're flying the jet around. That was a lot more like spy themed and a lot more interesting, and people understood more quickly what was going on, what was expected of them, and that was a big change that we did based on kind of early access feedback, basically. So that was mostly getting people in the game early and getting them to play it and give feedback in early access. So yeah, the game has changed a huge amount over the last 2 years, I would say.
Where did the decision come to put this on an early access type of program?
So we like early access for a couple reasons. First of all, it was really, really useful in Don't Starve, and
I knew you guys had done it with Don't Starve. I thought maybe was Don't Starve the first time you experimented with that?
It was, yeah. Don't Starve was actually one of the earliest Steam early access titles in general, I think. So it was an experiment both for us and for Valve, and yeah, Don't Starve worked perfectly with early access. Invisible Ink did not go quite as well, I would say, but only because Don't Starve did so phenomenally well on early access.
Yeah.
Invisible Ink did fine, and I mean, when I say did fine, I mean it design-wise, it was super. It was helpful for feedback. when we made the decision to go into early access, we didn't really worry about how it would sell. We were mostly thinking, is this going to be good for the game in the long term, right? Do we want people looking at it really early on? Do we want to get that level of polish? And we decided, like, yeah, this game will be better if we polish it up into a tight package, cut some of the larger scoped features we were worrying about. Like, we were thinking, like, oh, we're going to have, maybe an XCOM style research facility, right, where you're leveling up and all this stuff. And we decided, like, no, let's tighten this up. Let's get it to a playable product. Let's put it into early access. And then let's iterate from there. And this will be like a stronger, tighter project because of that. And I feel like that decision panned out fairly well.
What's the more notable things that you can remember changed because of early access? I know you said you've made some changes because of that, but what is one of the bigger changes that took place because of the feedback you got from early access?
So a big one was emphasizing replayability over single session playability. So we have this roguelike structure where you're supposed to replay the game over and over again, but then when we actually came down to it, we had all these forms of replayability that were not super compelling. So we ended up, because of early access feedback, actually making 4 or 5 more characters than we were going to, and adding a lot of stuff for players to unlock so that they can come back with a fresh start. And I think before early access, we were relying too heavily on the idea that people would be, just like want to play it over and over again because it was there. And we had to, basically go in and add more replayable content. There was also some balance stuff that changed. Like, for example, there was a part early on in the game where you could install a certain augment. And then there was a couple combinations of things you could do where you could do what was called one-turn clears. So this guy in the forum started doing one-turn clears, which were awesome. Basically, he would beat the entire level in one turn because of a couple of combo items. And they were kind of awesome. But we took them out of the game, unfortunately, for him. He was upset about that, but we found a bunch of balance stuff that we had to change because of early access too. So those were significant changes as well.
And it was originally called Incognita?
Yeah, Incognita.
And then it became Invisible Ink. Really doesn't mean much, but what happened to the name change? Why did the name change?
Totally. So Incognita was just confusing to people, is what we found. Like, when you told someone Incognita, they would often come back 30 minutes later and be like, what was the name of that game again? You know what I mean? So we ended up, like, when we were telling, like, I was just talking to a friend of mine. I was like, I'm working on this game Incognita. And he was like, I don't know how to spell that. I don't, I'm coming back to you. Like, he kept having people coming back and being like, I can't remember the name of your game, but it looks great. And we were like, that's probably not good. I still like the name Incognita. I know a lot of people do as well. I know a lot of people on the forums like the name Incognita, but I also like Invisible Ink, and we ended up going for Invisible Ink. We felt it was more evocative, and it was easier to understand what the game actually was, and it was a little more unique and easier to remember because it sounded so different, and it was also built out of 2 simple words as opposed to being a made-up word, right?
Right.
So yeah, we just basically, just in talking to people and just talking to our friends about the game, we ended up not liking the way that people reacted to the name. So we decided, let's come up with something that we think is more true to the game and easier to remember and talk about.
How soon? So you started 2 years. You started about 2 years ago. Development on this. How? I'm guessing was Don't Starve still going on as far as development? I mean, were you guys working on 2 projects at the same time, or?
Yeah, totally. So Klei used to be a one-project studio, back when we were making Shank.
Mm-hmm.
We used to just have one project going at a time. And then because we were interested in exploring new design spaces, we decided we'd rather have multiple projects going at once because that way we can explore out in a lot of different directions, right? And if one project hits a wall and it's like, oh, since we were exploring this uncharted water, we ran into a problem that we can't overcome, then that's not disastrous, right? Because we have a couple irons in the fire. And so yeah, Don't Starve was happening. Mark of the Ninja was just wrapping up, I think, as Invisible Ink started. And so like the DLC for Mark of the Ninja, Don't Starve, some other projects were ramping up, and then Invisible Ink was up. And so we've had like we've been a 3 or 4 project studio for the last couple of years.
Well,
so we have about 40 people in the studio, and our team is about 8 to 10 people on Invisible Ink at any given time.
Now you have 40 people in the studio, but that's right now. When you guys started work on Invisible Ink or were wrapping up Mark and the Ninja, was it still at that number? You guys were probably smaller,
No, it
right?
was smaller. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
probably around 25-ish. Yeah, something like that.
One of the benefits of early access is pretty much, and we've mentioned it here, is just that direct feedback that you get. So you make a change, you put it out there, and you get a immediate feedback as to whether you screwed that up or whether something else needs fixing or worked on or anything like that. What's been the overall response that you've gotten from early access? Did it start out? Did it start out with what feels like as much praise as it has now, 2 years later?
Well, it's nice of you to say it has a lot of praise. I'm still nervous about launch over here, so we'll see. But
well, looking at the Steam page, it's got that whole very positive,
Yeah, no, I'm feeling good. I'm happy about that. Yeah, well, yeah, totally. The early access response has always been super positive. I think we've had a lot of people who are really interested in the game. Early on in early access, it was a lot tougher, the game, and it was very different. It was a lot more niche, I think, whereas now at this point in its development, nearing the end, we've expanded it to a much broader audience that can appreciate it, I think. In the beginning, it was very poorly tutorialized. Everything was counterintuitive and confusing. And I think we fixed a lot of those problems, and now it's kind of got an intuitive interface, and it's pretty well tutorialized. And I think we can get a lot more people into the game, which was one of the major issues people had with the very first early access version. My favorite thing we've gotten from early access is the sense of people talking without the developers being there. So, we have our own gameplay session. So we make a change and we play the game, and we're pretty good about intuiting, oh, okay, is this a good change fundamentally? And then we also bring some people in occasionally just to play the game and watch them over their shoulder, right? So we'll sit someone down for the first time and watch them play through the tutorial and watch them play through the game. But none of those things, there's no way, without early access, there's no way to see what it looks like for someone to play the game without the developer watching them, right?
Yeah.
And people play really differently when they don't think the developer's watching, but we secretly are. So it's that's actually the best, most candid feedback we've gotten is, people streaming the game for their friends or people talking to each other in the forums. And that's when people are really honest and they open up. And they're not just suggesting stuff directly to you, but they're actually talking amongst themselves. And you get some of the best, most candid feedback that way. And that's kind of been my favorite thing about early access is being able to, get really honest, sometimes insulting in a good way, sometimes, stuff they wouldn't say to your face, but actually helps you make the game much, much better, right? And so that's my favorite stuff about early access, personally.
So it's interesting. You've made a spy game called, started out with Incognita, and you had to get honest feedback by sort of, not necessarily, I don't mean spying in some bad way, but you had
I see where you're going here.
Yeah, exactly. To get the honest feedback, and that's really. I'm curious. You mentioned something. You said that people. I've never had. Well, the exception of sitting with you and playing the game at PAX. That's about the only time I have when a developer or somebody who is representing the company that built the game is watching me play. How do people play different if they know a developer is watching them? What's the differences?
So some of the stuff we've noticed is people at home. First of all, if there's stuff that's really bad. Just something that's oh, this is stupid or this is offensive or whatever, right? Something we haven't noticed. Mm-hmm. They won't say anything if we're sitting right behind them.
Really?
But if they're playing on their stream or something, right, then they'll just be oh, that's so dumb. You know what I mean? They'll say that. So it's you get candid feedback that way. The other thing that people do a lot is just the pace at which they're playing is very different. So if you're watching them and they're playing, people will often unconsciously just try to play faster. And sort of try to impress you with how quickly they're picking up everything, And when they're playing it at home, they're more comfortable being oh, okay, I'll just sit here and read stuff for a while, right? Yeah. When I'm watching over their shoulder, they won't be okay just sitting there and reading tooltips. But at home, someone might just not do anything for 10 minutes and sit and read campaign options, right? And that's sort of just a big difference in the way people like to play the game, and it changes what we want to do with the game. If someone's going to play and be oh, I really enjoyed that. I took that super seriously and it was really fun. But if they play at home and they're okay, for whatever reason, I can't take this super seriously. Mm-hmm. That's something that's really good to know. because they'll always take it seriously when you're sitting right there, right?
Yeah, it's really interesting because I understand exactly what you're saying. I've had the same situations at E3 and at PAX,
Yeah.
places like that where I have all of maybe 10 minutes to experience your game.
Yep.
And your game takes a lot more than 10 minutes to get an experience out of.
Yep.
And so it's one of the things that I'm actually not very fond of with things like E3 and PAX is that it gives you a little bit of time, but really not enough time to form a very good opinion. Only really enough time to say, do I want to play more of this, or is this just not, do I want to just wait?
Some games demo very well too. Other games don't. I think it depends on the genre and what they're going for.
Yeah, yours demoed quite well with me. I mean, obviously, your Invisible Ink is a very you've got to like a lot of things to like Invisible Ink, and I'm not saying that as a negative about the game. I'm saying that as a positive because if you like any one of these things, you're gonna love this.
Yeah, I hear you.
You're gonna love the game, but some people aren't up for the turn-based, or some people aren't up for the roguelike, or some people aren't even up for the stealth. Of course, if you're not up for the stealth, just get out now. But seriously, this is nothing but stealth. I'm curious, was it always, and again, I'm not very far into the game at all, because apparently just starting out, I'm not very good at the game.
It's a tough game.
Which is fine with me. It's fine. I don't mind that because the fun part about that is I get a new map each time I play it.
Nice.
So when I screw up on that map that gave me so much problems and I start over, I get a brand new map to start with, and I don't have to worry about getting caught in the choke points that I got caught in the last one. It's brand new each and every time, so it doesn't feel repetitive.
Nice.
Or at least it hasn't yet. Again, I haven't gotten very far. Is it always two people?
No, you can get up to 4. You can get up to 4 agents in your crew.
That feels so confusing to try and figure that out.
Yeah, it feels very different. I like playing. I usually stick with 2 when I play. I avoid the places that give you extra agents, but I do have some friends who like getting all 4 really fast.
Was there any thought to do co-op?
We did have that original multiplayer idea with the original game, but as an 8-person team for most of the development, we were like, let's just do this one thing and make it good. And it really does feel like we came to the finish line and we did everything we could to make the single player game good. And I really didn't feel like at the end of the day we had any extra time to put any other scope into it, So I think basically we just decided let's make sure the single player is really good, and then work at it from there. And the single player it took a lot of love to get it to the point that we were like, okay, we're comfortable saying this is a good game. And I think we didn't want to split our attention and make a crappy single player game and a crappy multiplayer game, right?
Yeah. What is the it might be hard to say given the genre of what this game is, but do you have a guesstimate, I suppose, of how long it takes to play?
So it's an interesting question. Yeah, as you were saying, like the roguelike genre is pretty weird.
There is a story mode in this. There is a beginning and there is an end.
There is, and on beginner you can retry level to level, so you never actually completely lose your save on beginner.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, in our initial playthroughs with people that we know, it's been probably 6 to 8 hours to the first completion, which is probably somewhat similar to FTL. It's probably you'll beat it in fewer tries, but each try takes a little bit longer, I would say.
Yeah.
And then, that's the beginner mode. To beat the expert mode, you'll probably have to play for like 20 to 30 hours to get good enough to get there. And there's a lot of unlockable content and stuff. So we're hoping that it's definitely there's enough there to keep people replaying and getting into the game as a replayable game and not just a one-off experience.
All right. Well, I'm early on into it, but I love the fact that I have just all this space to explore here. I say explore; it's not really an exploring type game, but I just have a lot ahead of me, which is great because
awesome.
Like I said,
happy to hear that.
I'm really, really enjoying it. Let's go back to the style of the game. Is there some sort of influence this art style is coming from, or?
Yeah. Absolutely. So for us, like I would say the two major influences were Neuromancer, like Cyberpunk,
Mhm.
and 50s spy posters, basically. So our current game is kind of a combination of those two things. It's like it's got the Neuromancer, it's got the Cyberpunk elements, it's got the dystopian world sort of feeling. I mean, we don't go full Cyberpunk because we don't really have a lot of room for complicated story. You know what I mean? Like we don't have a ton of like exposition and dialogue. But it's definitely inspired by Cyberpunk, and it's also inspired by 50 spy posters. So the art style, you know, the big splash of blue that's across everything, like the contour outline, the sharp blue and red colors. Those are very, very inspired by kind of 50s and 60s spy posters and spy movies.
Yeah, everything is, and I don't mean edgy in the sense of a frame of mind, but edgy in the corners are like sharp points and things. Yeah,
That's right.
Very
sharp chins.
Yeah, straight lines.
Yep.
And very very well done. I was getting, and I'm sure you get this a lot. I was getting a very what is it, Eon Flux sort of style to the animation. I think.
Oh, really? Nice. Yeah,
that was the first thing that popped into my head. I was getting the music was giving me Tron, and the
awesome.
The art style was giving me Aeon Flux, but of course now that
like
you mentioned
Daft Punk Tron or like older Tron?
No, Daft Punk Tron.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
awesome.
more of Tron Legacy, I guess, is what I meant more than anything else. And speaking
that movie is such a good soundtrack.
Yeah, speaking of the music, who did the music for this game?
Vince DeVera is our composer in house, and he does the music, and he also worked on our UI as well.
Was there any direction that he was given, or was this just something that came straight from him?
You know, I mean, we worked really closely with him. He's in-house, so he sits right next to us, and he's playing the game and working on it. And, you know, he's very, very close to the design and the feeling and the art style of the game. So I think he definitely took all of that and tried to make music that so one of the things about our music is that it's dynamic. So there's like a kind of ambient FTL-style track that plays early on in the level. And then maybe as you get yourself into more intense and sticky situations, it kind of the drums start coming in, the horns start coming in. So we tried to make tracks that could have that range of dynamism, where if you were sitting for a long time in a kind of spot where you're thinking and not in too much trouble, then it'll stay kind of quiet and keep you grounded. But if you're like in a really exciting moment, then the music will match that feeling. So that was one of our major goals with it.
Well, he nailed it. Again, there's somebody else to give my regards to. Is this person who did the music there? That was fantastic soundtrack. Is the soundtrack available maybe with like a deluxe edition or anything like that?
So we are working on that. It will be at one point.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to be ready for launch.
That was a completely random question that I just thought of while we were sitting here talking about the music. I was like, oh, I wonder if it's available. So that's good to know as well. We've been on a music kick lately. Our last week's show, we had a composer on for Ori and the Blind Forest, and so.
Ooh, awesome! That is a great sounding game. That game is so good.
Oddly enough, none of us on the show have played it. Even after talking to him, I still haven't played it. We had the opportunity to talk to him, and we're all fans. I mean, first off, this show is based on the radio, so music plays an important part, and we're very big fans of video game music. So we weren't going to pass up the opportunity to talk to a composer, whether we played the game or not. But we've been on a big music kick, and this is no exception to having some great tunes played during the show. So thank you for that, and thank him as well for doing that.
Will do. Yeah, he'll be happy to hear that.
Couple more questions. What is on the plate next for you and next for Klei?
What is on the plate next for Klei? What are we working on? So we're working on Don't Starve Together right now. I'd say it's the biggest thing we have in the fire, which is it's like a multiplayer version of Don't Starve. It's in early access.
Mm-hmm.
And we are also working on, we're wrapping up Invisible. I'm moving on to a new project that we're prototyping, so I don't know how far we are along in that one, but that's going to be exciting. And then we have maybe like one or two more unannounced games that we're starting up. So basically, Don't Starve Together is our big project right now. It's got most of the Klei team on it, but we have a couple other unannounced titles that we're working on.
Well, I won't push you for those titles. I know how tight-lipped you folks in the industry are about not revealing what you're actually working on. But I would
Well,
like.
yeah, we try
Go
try
ahead.
not to be too PR-y about it. You know, it's not really for business reasons. It's just like we're just working on them. We're not even sure if they're good yet, and we don't want people to like get all excited about the designs and then be like, well, you know what, it didn't work, so we're actually dumping it and doing this different thing with it. And we just find it actually like, you know, if we were for sure that these games would be awesome and they weren't changing at all, we would announce them. You know.
I don't know, man. You guys have been on a roll.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you've got
Well-
what? Shank, Mark of the Ninja, Don't Starve, this Invisible Ink. You know.
Yeah, that's been us recently.
Yeah, you just have not. You. It's just been quality, quality, quality.
Oh, thank you so much. So nice to hear that.
Yeah, I think it'll be fun with whatever you guys decide on. That kind of rules out what my next question was going to be to follow that up with was when might we hear what these are? You guys plan to announce something during E3 or PAX later this year?
I don't know. I don't think E3, but yeah, maybe a couple months, maybe a year. Shouldn't be too long.
All right. Well, Invisible Ink releases on Tuesday. However, I believe early access folks who have already jumped into it will already be playing the game right now.
Thursday. Thursday is when it unlocks for all the early access people.
Right, James, but this airs on Saturday, so I was playing
Oh, that's
along.
right. You're so smart.
Yeah,
You're
no,
so
it's
smart.
cool. Don't worry about it.
You're living in the future.
It's cool. I do it all the time. We don't really like you guys. You're not really big on PR. We're not really big on following the whole script of things. So don't worry too much about it. But yeah, so the early access people will be able to play it Thursday or playing it now. And you said you were kind of nervous about all of that. You're kind of nervous about getting the feedback. Now, obviously, early access folks, you already know what they think.
We do, but we went into a hibernation period where we just worked on it hermit style for 3 to 4 months. So it's changed a huge amount from what the early access people saw. So it's gonna be very interesting to see if they're like, this seems like this is awesome, or if it's gonna be more if there's gonna be it's buggy somehow we didn't anticipate or whatever. But I feel good about it. I feel confident, but you can never escape the anxiety,
I guess so. I've never been in any of the people that we interview. I've never been in their shoes before as far as releasing a game, and they all say the same thing: is that they are nervous about the upcoming release. I can't imagine what that feels like to put 2 years of work into something for other people to critique. Which I mean they're going to play it and enjoy it, and then. Some people play it and enjoy it, and then some people critique it. I've never been able to put myself in those shoes to see how that feels.
To be honest with you, I mean, it's really just that I just hope people talk about it and like it, and it finds a sense of community and a sense of people like talking through strategies with each other and stuff. That would be my dream. I'm not super nervous about sales. I mean, that's not a huge deal to me. As a designer, like I just want people to talk about strategies and talk to each other and enjoy it.
Do the press reviews make you nervous, or is it more the user reviews on Steam and likewise? Which one gives you a little bit more anxiety?
I think reviews in general, like if the game finds
because here it is, here's people talking about what you just did for the past 2 years. Either
I guess for me, like. I don't know, like 2 people talking, like 4 people in a forums thread talking about a strategy that they really like, to me is like, I'll take that over any review. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that to me is like, it's like my, it's like what I crave in life, I mean, the reviews are nice and they're great and I really respect a lot of the people who do them, and it's really, really nice when you get one that's really well thought out and interesting. Whether or not it's critical, I really like the ones that are super, super deep and thought out. But yeah, I really love the forum threads and the people talking about it and trading strategies and talking about their experiences with the game. I mean, that to me is like the best part of releasing a game.
Well, I don't think you're going to have anything to worry about on Tuesday. I will be there to congratulate you with everybody else. And congratulations now on all the work you put into it. Congratulations on being right here on release. And I'm telling you, for everything that I've seen, you guys are in good position to have a huge success on your hands. I think it's great.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
We appreciate you being with us, James, today. Thank you so much. And let me ask you one more question. At PAX, I did not get to see this, but at PAX Prime last year, you guys had a box full of money or something,
We
and
did,
people they had 60 seconds to use a lockpick kit to unlock it. Did anybody do it?
Yeah, there were a number of people that did it.
Really?
A couple. Yeah, I'd say half and half. Like people who were really good at lockpicking already. Some of them came up and were able to do it, and some people who were just quick, super fast learners and super dexterous just came up, learned how to lockpick, and then got it open. And
Nice.
that was fun. Yeah, that was my favorite part of that PAX.
That's great. Well, I, again, appreciate your time. Have you had any chance to play anything outside of working on this game while you've been working on it? Have you had any
Yeah, totally. No, I try to keep up all the time with. I spend my small amount of free time playing other games. So
What have you played that you've enjoyed recently?
oh, what have I liked a lot? I really liked Nuclear Throne was really good. I love Crypt of the Necrodancer, one of my favorite games of all time. I love been playing Counter-Strike,
Yeah.
League of Legends, so I kind of play some competitive games as well. Yeah, that's most of it for me. A lot of indie games and competitive games. Haven't had a lot of time for AAA games, to be honest with you.
That's fine. Trust me. For the most part, the indies wipe the floor with the. We talked about. I don't know. I want to say I sent you a clip, and I don't even know if you had time to listen to it or not. But we talked very, very briefly a couple of weeks ago about stealth games in general, and we said that stealth for us, we were on a big Splinter Cell kick, and stealth for us did not mean that if you're discovered, you need to fight your way out. Stealth for us meant if you're discovered, you're done, because the key to stealth was basically get in, get out, and have them never know you were there.
Yeah.
And we praised Mark of the Ninja for getting stealth right, and we figured, we'll never get the old stealth games back, but we have the hope, and one of our guys, who incidentally is named James as well, said that the only place we're going to get that from is from the indie guys, is from the smaller guys, people who do things like Mark of the Ninja, and then of course Invisible Ink came up and said, yeah, that's where our pure stealth is going to be coming from.
Nice,
Because
awesome.
we were talking about Splinter Cell, Deus Ex, that sort of thing, and we just said, it's not what it was. It's had to change because of the audience that they're aiming for. But these smaller companies, they don't have to change for that. They can aim for that small target and of an audience that is a big target for them. It's a huge target for them. So we're going to get it from them more than we're going to get it from the AAA guys. So thank you for giving it to those who love the genres that you're providing content for, the stealth, the tactical, the turn-based, the roguelike, everything like that. It's
Sure,
been
thank
fantastic.
Thank you for saying that, and thank you so much for having me on. It's been a blast. It's awesome show. I'm excited to hear the rest of it.
Thank you so much for being with us. We've been talking to James Lantz, the technical designer at Klei Entertainment, and also on the Invisible Ink team. The game is Invisible Ink. It will be out on Tuesday. Early, if you picked it up in early access, you can play it right now, but it'll be out on Tuesday if you want to pick that up. We've got videos up at our YouTube channel if you want to see a little bit more about what that game is. Of course, you've been watching it during this interview right now, if you've been watching the Twitch stream, and definitely check it out. You've also heard music that opened this interview. That was from Invisible Ink, and this is music to close out the interview, also from Invisible Ink. We'll be right back with more of In-Game Chat in just a moment. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. That is music from Blue Stinger. Once again, the game that we were talking about in the last break, that was Invisible Ink. Hopefully you guys like that. Apparently, during this while that interview was playing, we found out that the game is not for sale on Steam. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's currently, you can't purchase it. It will be releasing on Tuesday, but it was in early access for just such a long time, and apparently they've pulled the purchase for early access for now.
I'm not exactly sure what that situation is. I don't know why that is. I know they said they were going to stop early access sales until the game released, but I didn't think that meant pre-orders wouldn't be available.
Yeah, they're not doing pre-orders at all.
Interesting. Well, it does release on Tuesday, and you can pick it up on Steam. Very, very fun game. I think it is getting a PS4 release.
Yeah, there is some about PS4 version coming out.
No idea when, but it is getting a PS4 release at some point. So
better for me.
Real quick, there's been some other people who have joined us in the chat room, and I'd love to get them a shout out here. Let's see. Quiet Hype 2 joined the chat room, and oh, well, that's all. Never mind then.
All those one people.
There was a couple of people I saw when we were talking. The Delinquent had joined us, and I don't think is there anymore. But anyway, thanks. We appreciate that. Last few minutes of the show that we were going to talk about real quick was an interesting situation between CDPR, which is the developed studio for Witcher 3.
What, Project Red?
Yeah, CD Projekt Red is their name. And Green Man Gaming. Had a little bit of a headbutton situation going on. Green Man Gaming was selling Witcher 3 for pretty cheap.
Yeah, like $35.99.
Yeah, 33, 35 around there.
Yeah, Green Man Gaming's really good. I've used them plenty of times.
Me
These
too.
are not one of those. This is not one of those sketchy companies that you don't know if you're buying a Steam key or not. That sort of situation.
The mercenary guy from the salesman guy from Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
Not like you bought something that fell off the back of a truck in Brazil.
Yeah.
As I've normally gone through plenty of times.
But yeah, in this case, it was they were selling Witcher 3, and then CDPR came out and said, we haven't sold any keys to Green Man Gaming. We weren't actually dealing with them at all.
Well, they put it in such a way. The statement that they gave, and I'm really siding with Green Man on this, although I think the situation's been resolved, but I really put side on Green Man in this situation because the way CD Projekt Red made that statement said something to the effect of "Do not buy."
Yeah.
I would not buy from Green Man Gaming.
Not to buy via GMG at this time. We have not sold them keys and don't know the origin of those keys. That's what they said.
Right. Turns out, Green Man Gaming, they tried to talk to CD Projekt Red and said, "Hey, we would like to distribute your game through our sales distribution. We've done this in the past with you guys. We've worked with you in the past, and it's all gone nice and smooth. We would like to do it again with Witcher 3." And apparently they were denied this.
Yeah.
So
because, didn't they want to go with GOG?
Well, the CDPR is
CDPR is GOG. GOG is CDPR. Yeah. They are the same company. They're owned by the same people. It's their own thing. So Green Man Gaming decided that, all right, fine, you don't want to do that. So they went and bought their own copies of the game and started selling the keys from there. It's interesting.
Yeah, the speculation is that it was a lot of other regions they went and bought it from.
Yeah. Now, I have a problem a little bit because Green Man Gaming, on their mission statement or whatever it is, in some of their fine print, whatever the case, where they say, everything you buy from us is genuine. It is not from somebody else or anything like that. They try to make sure they put your trust in that. And I believe them for the most part. However, in this situation, they weren't actually doing that. They were selling keys from... Yeah.
It is kind of weird.
It was all still legitimate.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It was all still legitimate. But that was the only part I might have taken issue with. I still think Green Man Gaming is fine for doing what they did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the thing of it is that, like it or not, CDPR has the right to discern where their games are sold if they so choose.
Yeah.
And what Green Man Gaming did, as far as we can tell, is above the board. They just went out and got their own keys. And they're like, hey, buy them from us.
Right.
And right now there is no longer a sale on Witcher 3 keys, and it does look like, haven't heard anything yet, but it looks like whatever was going on between them has been resolved now.
It looks like it's been resolved with, I think, the underlying resolution has been CDPR saying to Green Man Gaming, look, you can sell the game, but you cannot undercut us on the price.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be lower than what we're selling it for on GOG. So
Yeah, because Steam's not lower.
I don't believe it is. I'm not exactly sure, but I don't believe it is.
I think so. I'll check right quick though.
So, yeah, Lavo says they were selling keys that they own, though. Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
They were selling keys. The situation was they went and bought the game from another retailer, got those keys, and that's what they were selling on their site at a huge loss to them. Honestly,
I could imagine so.
they were already selling it at a huge loss, but
Steam is currently going for $53.99. It's 10% off there.
yeah, Green Man Gaming would be undermining the creators on that. Although I'm thinking that they might be doing that. They do a lot of good sales at Green Man Gaming. I don't necessarily know if that's undermining the creators. I think that this is obviously some kind of deal that they work out with publishers or with the game developers themselves to say that we're going to sell your game at this price. If you don't like that, then don't allow us to do that or something like that. I don't really know. I don't know how it all works on the inside of this.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, everybody wants to make money off of it.
They do. Yeah.
If Green Man would not have gone through the trouble of acquiring their own keys and then selling them at a discount if they weren't like making some kind of profit off of it.
Yeah.
Whether that is directly from that sale or getting people to go through Green Man and hopefully buying other products or anything like that.
I would think it'd make folks come to them first if you want to get the lowest price on the newest titles.
Yeah. Well, like we said, I think the thing has been resolved now, so you can pick it up at Green Man Gaming or at GOG if you'd like to. But that's going to do it for our show, everyone. Thanks for joining us in the chat room, as well as everybody listening on the stream or even on the radio. Thanks to everybody who grabs us each week from iTunes or however you get our show for later use. We really appreciate it. Go to ingamechat.net. You can join us on Twitter, Facebook, our forums at colonyofgamers.com. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you're on Steam, we've got a Steam group you can join up with over there and play games with us and other listeners. If you'd like to support us, we would love your support. Check out patreon.com/ingamechat or again, ingamechat.net. You'll find the link to our Patreon page where you can support our show in money, and we'd appreciate that. So thanks, everybody. We'll have a great week, and we will see you next Saturday. Here's music from Ill Bleed.